Hello, my fellow MCs, Primo here. With the version 1.3 livestream come and gone, many are wondering if they should spend their hard earned Stellar Jades on the new characters being released or hold them for future use. Now, I won't tell you one way or the other on who you should pull for, but I will lay out as much information as possible so you can make the most informed decision you can. Today, we are talking about characters you may already have in a similar role, general kit overviews, lore importance, aesthetics, and overall usefulness in the meta. So let's sit back, grind some Stellar Jade, and let's talk about it.
General,
Well,
you're a scoundrel.
Heng IL is our first true imaginary DPS unit to anchor our team's damage output. I know the Welt Truthers are going to come out with their pitchforks making the case for their husbando being the first, but I'm basing this off of the type of path they are. Welt can serve as a support or a DPS unit, although I do prefer a mix of both as a sub DPS. While I do think that Heng IL is one of a kind because of his element and role on a team, you can make the argument that units like Welt and Blade could replace him on a team. I think if you don't have Welt and are in need of a DPS unit, Heng IL would be a great pull for your account. If you have Welt, he isn't a must pull, but they can work off each other as a main and sub DPS combo. Xuan is a quantum preservation unit that has a one-of-a-kind ability to take damage received by allies and apply it to herself. Now, if you are a quantum element lover, Xuan is a godsend, as she can help complete a mono quantum team along with Lynx. If you are looking for general pull value, some units that can fill Fushan's role are Japard, while high-end healers like Locha and Bailu can also help with the team survivability aspect. Even with those high-end units, I still think she could be considered a high-value pull if you only have one of the three characters listed. Later on in the video, we will break down her kit, and I think you'll be shocked at how much utility she can bring to a team. But again, if you are looking for a mono quantum team, I consider her a must pull for your account. Lynx is a 4-star quantum healer that has some great healing and debuff capabilities. She may be one of the most important units to be released so far in Honkai Star Rail, as many players haven't had the chance to obtain Bailu or Locha. Having her pair up with Natasha as a second healer on your account is crucial for Memory of Chaos content, especially in the latter stages. Her pull value is very high for those that need a second healer on their account, but very low for those that already have the aforementioned characters, Locha and Bailu, or even a very well-built Japard. Like I mentioned previously with Fushan, she's a very good pull for those that want to run a mono quantum team.
General,
well,
you're a scoundrel.
Heng IL's kit is very skill point negative, but overall it's a huge positive. Using his skill to enhance his basic attacks, he can have 3 different variations that do increasing amounts of damage depending on how many times you enhance it, which is 1 to 3 times respectively. His main source of damage comes from his enhanced basic attack, while his ultimate provides a secondary source of damage. Using his second and third level of his enhanced basic attacks will also give Heng IL stacks of crit damage that can be triggered based on the number of hits you land. Different to other destruction characters we have like Clara and Blade, Heng IL does not possess any sort of follow-up attack in his kit, instead utilizing his talent to enhance his personal damage. His ultimate has a unique ability to create personal skill points that aren't usable for the party, but he himself can use when unleashing his enhanced basic attacks. His traces mainly focus on upgrading his personal damage with an emphasis on crit rate and imaginary damage. Fushan has a very similar kit to Dia in Genshin Impact, where she helps increase the survivability of the team at the expense of herself. Her main utilization comes in the form of her skill and talent, where she can transfer damage taken from allies, increase their max HP, enhance their crit rate, and reduce the amount of damage taken for 3 turns. Now you're probably wondering how she herself is able to survive by taking all that damage. She does have a self-healing ability within her talent that gets triggered when she reaches 50% HP. This is a unique alternative to a shield or healing character, as it's more centralized to Fushan herself, while the focus on the allies comes in the form of the crit rate and HP buff. Lynx's kit can be comparable to Natasha's, with the biggest difference being that Lynx's ultimate can clear 1 debuff from all allies instead of Natasha, who utilizes her skill to debuff a single ally. Another unique thing about Lynx's kit is that if she uses her skill for healing purposes on a destruction or preservation character, they'll have a greater chance at being targeted. Could Lynx be the March 7th of healers for the likes of Blade and Clara Havers to help trigger their talents? There is definitely a good chance to see some great synergy here for non-Locha accounts to get an adequate healer. However, my only slight on Lynx is that her debuff skill on ultimates is not as optimal as Natasha, since Natasha will always have the option to debuff, while you will have to wait till Lynx's ultimate is available.
General,
well,
you're a scoundrel.
What else is there to say about Heng IL and his importance to our Honkai Star Rail journey? He's been with us since we boarded the Astral Express, only for us to find out that he is the reincarnation of the High Elder Danfeng of the Vidyahara. After accepting his residual powers from the inhibitor Lunae, we fought alongside him to take down Fentilia and save the Xuan. If lore is an important aspect to a character's pull value, then it doesn't get more valuable than Dan Heng Il. Fu Shan's lore is tied with her role as the head of the Divination Commission. She's able to use her third eye and the Matrix of Prescience to be able to navigate the Xuan's navigational route and help predict future events. We first encountered Fu Shan on our quest to capture Kafka, and we got to see firsthand her abilities as a sage to try and see into Kafka's mind. Seemingly General Jing Yuan's first in command, she is an important part of the Xuan storyline, and her role is very prominent. Lynx is the youngest of the Landau siblings, who has yet to make an appearance in Honkai Star Rail. Don't underestimate her just because she is the youngest between Gepard and Serval. Just like her accomplished siblings, she is known as one of Belobog's best extreme environment explorers. Although she may come off as withdrawn and lazy, she's actually the complete opposite, as she only keeps up this appearance to avoid unnecessary socialization with others. I would love to have a story quest involving her in the future, so we can see the dynamic between the three Landau siblings.
General,
Well,
you're a scoundrel.
I know aesthetics are more of a personal preference, so take this all with a grain of salt, as these are just my general observations and first reactions when seeing these characters. For Dan Heng Il, they truly did him justice in those initial cutscenes of his reveal. He really gave off otherworldly vibes and had the embodiment of somebody who had obscene powers. On a design aspect, and I know I may get some hate for this, but I'm yearning for more. He just looks a little too much like the 4-star version, but with horns and long hair. Maybe if he had a color swap from his original clothing, I could be more hyped. But my first reaction was, to say the least, a little underwhelming. Now that isn't to say he hasn't grown on me. I still think he gives off major husbando vibes with elegance similar to that of Jing Yuan. And I'm sure once I pull for him, I'll immediately take back everything I am saying now, but his attack and ultimate animations are some of the best in game, in my opinion. Utilizing a water dragon to strike his opponents, I love how he just commands it to do his bidding and not having to use a weapon. It really ties into his overall aesthetic and godly figure. Fu Shan's design is on point when it comes to balance and detail. She comes off as very sophisticated with her third eye, and the bright pink and purple really tie in well together. She has a sort of grace and precision about her, which is more than evident when redirecting all of Kafka's bullets with the push of her hand. Her animations are definitely top tier, and one can argue her ultimate animation is the best in game. It's definitely one of my personal favorites, as it blends together Raiden Shogun and Welt's ultimate, but with the intensity of Jing Yuan's. I love how it has a galaxy theme behind it and uses her third eye as part of the overall attack. It's just a chef's kiss when it comes to how visually appealing it is, and I wouldn't blame anybody who wanted to pull for her based on this animation alone. I personally love Lynx's design, as it really looks like she's an adventurer fighting the fierce cold of Jarrillo 6, and it also doesn't hurt that she looks like a cute little Eskimo. I love her teal overcoat matching her eyes, along with the contrast of the dark blue in her scarf and tights. Even as a 4-star unit, her animations are so quirky and fun, I just can't get enough of it. Utilizing a climbing axe as a weapon is truly the perfect choice for her as an adventurer. Her ultimate animation is absolutely hilarious as she pulls out all her rations from her bag just to pull out this mega pill that just exemplifies that she is a healer for the team. It's definitely one of the more comedic ultimate animations I've seen in the game, but honestly, I don't mind it at all. I think it really blends in with her personality and character design.
General,
well,
you're a scoundrel.
Without going into too much detail, this is more of a prediction of where I see them falling into the tier list after initial testing is done upon release. These predictions won't dive into any numbers or damage calculations, but will strictly be based on the descriptions of the character's kit and other similar units that have been released in the past. For Dan Heng Il, I can see him easily slotting into the SS tier just based on the stackable damage boost and element type alone. Although he is very skill point hungry, you can easily make a team around him that can circumvent that and will bring out the best in him, ideally having him attack with his 3rd level enhanced basic attack. Welt generally hovers around the A to S tier range, and we know that he will probably have better damage output than him, while Blade is in SS tier, and I can see him having a similar impact to him. And of course, with him being a prominent character since the beginning of the game, and our first 5-star version of a starter character, I can see Hoyoverse making a huge statement and making him an absolute unit. For Fu Shan, I think she will easily slot into the SSS tier right alongside Gepard. Not only is her damage mitigation seemingly top tier, but her ability to buff her allies with HP and crit rate is just unheard of with the preservation units that have released in the past. If you just took her survivability traits, I would say S tier no doubt, but adding in support capabilities really pushes her to the next level, and I can even say higher than Gepard. I personally believe that out of the 3 characters we are getting in this new patch, Xuan has the best chance to be meta-defining. For Lynx, she will slot in next to Natasha in the A tier. This is assuming you have Locha in SS tier, Bailu in S tier, leaving the 4-star healers in A tier. Now this isn't a slight on Lynx because as we discussed, she's a great 4-star abundance unit. But in comparison to the other healers that have released in the past, she just doesn't surpass them in terms of utility. But overall, she's a very solid option for those accounts that need a second healer.
General,
Well,
you're a scoundrel.
And with that, this will end our video on who you should pull for in version 1.3. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Comment down below who your target is, or are you skipping for a future character? I know for myself, I am definitely eyeing down Honkai, and I pray to the gacha gods I can win the 50-50 for him. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.